Good afternoon, folks. Today I have the great honor of introducing you to the captain who has sailed great seas to reach this space. He is the founder of Bomm Army, and don't worry about the name, although it sounds explosive. If we are lucky, the channel won't blow up. Welcome to Cyphers, and I'm very happy to have you here, Captain. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Jouses. It's a real privilege to be here, and look, just a huge thanks for having me on. It's so cool to have people like you on the journey with us for Bomm Army and decentralizing social media and with NFTs. It's really exciting.
Yeah, that's very entertaining for myself too because I feel the passion and I feel the comrades that everyone in the team has because they want to help each other to reach more entertaining and more interactive. Let's say social media content. We know that the Web 2.0 was in charge of centralization of everything. And now with Web3, we are going to decentralize everything again. So before we start this meeting, I would like to ask you what happened to the captain before being a captain? What forces inspired you to get here? Can you share us a bit of your story?
Yeah, sure. So I've been around in the web space for a long time, probably about 15 years now. And I was a big fan of things like Twitter and Facebook when they first came out. When they first launched back in the day, and was eagerly got on them, and signed up. And I remember Twitter when I first got onto it. It was just a small platform. There were probably only a few hundred people maybe in the country or in my city who were on it, and so New Zealand is where I'm based, and it's a pretty small place here, and we used to meet in real life with the people who were on Twitter because there were so few of us, and it was this new interesting platform. This short format that no one had ever really seen before, and so we used to have these tweet ups, and yeah, it was heaps of fun. And I still keep in touch with a lot of those people, and those people have gone on to do pretty interesting things because they're all tech geeks, they're in that techie space. But I think with over the years, with Web 2, the way that it's gone, everything's gotten really centralized, and you've got these big companies now who have a massive amount of power and control over people and over what they can and can't say, and over how they can interact on platform. And I think what that ends up doing is it really stifles creativity. And I'm a creative person by nature. I think I'm probably, as a developer, I'm a bit unusual in that regard. I'm probably on the creative side more than the technical side. And I started out actually as a web designer. I think like getting into Bomm Army and building this, the opportunity that I see through it, and what I'm really excited about is the opportunity to decentralize, especially the back end, especially the data, and democratize the data and allow people to own their own data. But even more interestingly than that, I think allow everyone democratic access to that data. So essentially, you won't have to charge to mine and pull value out of this data. And I think that is a great value proposition for the world, because imagine if Twitter had an open API and the things that would get built on top of that. I think we would be quite surprised about the cool stuff that it ended up coming out of it. And I think Twitter they would probably benefit from it if they opened up their API. But obviously with those centralized companies, their data is more valuable than oil, in terms of it's the most valuable thing now in the world by market cap. And I think they've just, that's all they see. They just see their data, the data that you've put on platform, and the data that they own. So that's not going to change in a hurry.
Totally agree with that. Also, as a matter of fact, I could confirm what you say, because when I when I discovered your account in Twitter, you had like 320 followers in that moment. So I've been following you since you inserted that idea of revolutionizing the social media. As a matter of fact, I think that was like in March of 2020. I don't remember 2021. I don't remember exactly when, but I feel the passion, and I feel very, let's say, I feel this energy with you because you wanted to create something very good to everyone. So,
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's been awesome having you along from the very start. I mean, that's like literally, yeah. I mean, I deleted my old Twitter account. That's how disillusioned I got with Twitter. I was like, I'm out of this, and so I deleted it. And then, I signed up the Harkl account, in March last year. So,
oh yeah,
you're one of the real early ones.
that's playing everything, because when I saw you with 300 something followers, and then out of nowhere I see you with 2,000 followers, I said, what the heck, man? What did you what did you do? Did you buy all the bots? but you were truly very captain. You have a very genuine community, and I really felt happy with that.
Yeah, me
Besides
too,
everything
bro.
that you share with us in that account, the little that you share with us. So my second question would be, what is your vision of Boom Army from here to next year that you plan to achieve?
Yeah. Okay. So we're focusing on delivering three really key features in the first quarter of the year, and essentially, the first one is that we're going to have community channels, much like Discord has channels, except the way that those community channels are going to work on Bomm Army is that they're going to be driven by NFTs. So technically, if you look at NFTs, they have a little piece of code in them that identifies that NFT as being part of a group. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to use that little piece of code to identify the NFTs that are part of a group and make a channel out of that group. So, for example, Solana Monkey Business, they have that little code that says they're all Solana Monkey Business NFTs. And so what we're going to do is that if you hold one of those NFTs in your wallet, much like Discord, you're immediately going to have access to a channel that you can click into, and everyone else who has that same NFT is going to be able to access that channel. And anyone who doesn't have that NFT, they're not going to be able to access it. So it's going to be the sort of default channel mechanism, and I think that's really exciting in the first instance, just because it's actually really hard. I've got a few of these NFTs, and it's really hard to keep up with the communities. They're spread all over the place, and I'm really looking forward to just having a one-stop shop for where I can click through all these channels of the NFTs I own, and anyone who's on platforms is going to be there, and we can talk about those NFTs and connect with each other and see who each other is. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. And then the next thing that we're going to do after we've built that is we're going to, and we've already got this on platform in part, so it's got a working model on there, but essentially we're going to give our users the ability to mint their own NFTs. So you can go on Bomm.army at the moment, and you can mint your own NFT. There's a link in the left-hand menu there. But it's pretty basic. But you do mint a real NFT, and that NFT goes onto mainnet. But once we allow people to add attributes to that NFT, then essentially what we're going to enable people to do is create their own NFTs to hand out to their own fans and followers, to start their own channels. So I can mint an NFT, a Harkl NFT, and I can give it to you, Drauses, and then you'll have access to my channel in exactly the same way that if you owned a Solana Monkey Business NFT, you'd have access to that channel. So that's the second thing. And then the third big thing that we're going to be delivering is a marketplace. So just like Magic Eden or Solana or OpenSea or SolSea or whatever, we're going to have a marketplace in there, except it's going to be mostly centered around users. you know. So you'll be able to, it'll be a bit like a Shopify sort of storefront for your social account, and you'll be able to make NFTs, mint those NFTs, and put them into your marketplace and group them by collection and that sort of thing, and essentially sell these NFTs to your communities. And the thing that I'm really excited about with that is that you know, I think that a lot of these marketplaces are centered around the NFT collections themselves. But a lot of people have been asking, you know, what's next in the NFT business? And I've seen a few people anecdotally say, you know, it's the artists who make these NFTs, like they're going to start being surfaced. And I think that's what we're really giving artists the opportunity on our platform is to have their own marketplace, to surface their art, sort of the way, you know, like if you look at Beeple on the Ethereum network, you know, like he blew up sort of 12 or 18 months ago. You know, having a dedicated storefront where you can promote and sell art and is essentially the essence of what we want to do as well, because I'm really keen to have creators and artists on platform, and we've already got a few, you know, like we've got Flamula at the moment, who's part of the community, and he's doing a lot of our NFT artwork for our first NFT releases. We've got Nike as well, who's there, and he's you know, he's got some great vector art going on, and I'm just really keen to pull all of these really talented creatives in, and not only, you know, visual artists, but people who are doing podcasts, people who are doing video art, you know, people who are doing mixed media stuff, and have this platform that generates all this amazing content, and people can become fans and create together, you know.
Sure, awesome, sir. I'm very excited for your idea, and I would like to ask you that do you truly have a truly enormous army? because you mentioned some team members and a lot of people that collaborated with you, that something or maybe someone in my community will think that you are a big boss or something like that.
Hey, look, you know, to be honest, most of the work to date has been done by me. You know, I'm fortunate that I've got the skill set where I can design and develop, and I can do a lot of back end stuff. You know, so I can sort of deliver a lot of it. But you know, we have got a team. We've got 8 people in our team, and we've been bootstrapping the product for you know, for the last 6 months, and paying the team in native tokens with the promise that this is going to be something in the future. And just yesterday, in fact, we launched on mainnet. Obviously, you were there for the AMA, but yeah, we've got the platform on mainnet. We've been on testnet for 6 months, just making sure that everything works, just getting everything right. We're moving slow to move fast, if you get what I mean. But there's no way I'm a big boss. And you know, our community is pretty small at the moment, but it's passionate, and that's what's important. It doesn't matter that our community is small. It's passionate people like you, and Flamula, and you know, and I'd much rather have it that way than have a big community of people who are just looking to make a quick buck, you know, because there's plenty of those around.
Yeah, Captain, you sure are moving that ship very fast, because I thought that when you did the MAA yesterday, you mentioned that you will list the BMA token in Aldrin and Radium and so on, and I thought that it was a joke. But yesterday in the night, late in hour, like 10 p.m. from here, I saw the BMA token listed in Aldrin and Radium. So I think you are very, very fast moving your community. I would like
Yeah,
to
that's
ask.
right. Sorry, yeah, you go.
Okay, I would like, as a matter of fact, of that question, of that fact, I would like to ask you, why be an anonymous founder? Why not show your face to everyone so that they know you? Or do you think that privacy is very important to you?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I think, you know, it's a bit of uncertainty at the moment. Like, I think, and it's not because of the community, and it's not because of the people, but I think, you know, crypto is it's a really new space, and what it's doing it's challenging the status quo economically, and I think everyone's sort of seen what's happening with quantitative easing and especially Western governments really just printing money to infinity and devaluing their currency and saying that there's going to be no consequences of that. But we're starting to see inflation coming through with a lot of countries. Supply chains are really broken at the moment, and it's really because of that I'm keen. I'm not completely anonymous. Like, really, if people wanted to dig, they probably could find a slip up somewhere, and dig into my profile. But what I want to do is I just want to make it hard enough while we're small enough to find me, so that we aren't the first target that gets taken down, when the SEC or when someone comes knocking, because essentially that's the way they work.
Precisely.
So I don't know if you know of Kim.com. He's in New Zealand. He was a German national, but he lives in New Zealand now. And and a little while ago there was a big thing, with all of these file hosting platforms and the movie companies, and essentially like the movie companies, they got the US government to pressure the New Zealand government into to having a crack at extraditing Kim.com to the United States. Now, I think that was about 6 years ago. My memory is not that great about the actual date, but he is still fighting that battle. And Mega.com, which was his file upload sharing platform, they completely stuffed it. They froze all his assets in Hong Kong, and they just basically bullied him. Now, he wasn't the only guy doing file sharing and file upload, but what he was the guy with his head above the parapet who was most visible. And essentially, they just did it to send a message, as far as I can tell. So I think that's a lesson learned for me. Like at some stage I'll dox myself, but it'll be once crypto is mainstream and once the platform is decentralized as well, because it's relatively centralized at the moment. But we've got plans to move it onto technology that will decentralize the whole back end. So once there's nothing at stake for the community and for the platform, I'll probably dox myself then. Although I don't need recognition. I'm quite happy just like puddling along in an anonymous fashion.
Are you sure about that, sir? Aren't you lying to us? Because when I search Hark, I only see your monkey face. So my question will be: are you a monkey or a human being?
Right. Yeah. Occasionally I'm a monkey.
You do know about the joke of internet that no one knows if you are a dog internet.
Yeah, that's right.
So in this case will be: aren't you a monkey internet user?
So yeah, pretty much. I'm happy to. I think those monkeys they're pretty great. So I'm happy to be a monkey.
Yeah, that's good to know. So to do a small recap about what you have accomplished so far in Q4 21, you made the founding of the 1303 airdrop. I am very grateful to you because I'm member of the OG 1303 gathered project team. You have a wonderful team like Hyperion, Illyrium, Flamulous, wheel-based social platform. Yeah, you already launched the mainnet, right, sir?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was. So Q4 was great. Like I think it was just at the start, around September, that we put the platform online on testnet to test it out, and it was pretty basic back then, and it still is relatively basic now. But all what we showcased when we first launched was that you could post a meet, or that's our word for tweet. You post a meet, and essentially you could follow some people, and then and it worked. It worked. It was a proof of concept. We quickly got about 1,000 users, that 1303, that was the founding. So we had 1,000 users on platform from the start, and what we found is that our infrastructure was was probably not as strong as it should be to service that sort of size community. So we did a lot of back end stuff to the platform to make sure that it was stable. And now we've got it reasonably stable, and we launched the product under the alpha tag. You know, basically alpha in software development means that it's expect big parts of the application to be broken or not working quite right. But you know, it's essentially testing in production, and we you know, over 3 months we really ironed that out, and I got some devs on board who were keen to work for on a ticket basis in terms of just delivering incremental pieces of functionality and being paid in tokens for that. And so, you know, we shipped 40 tickets between us in Q4, and now, yeah, which led to Q1. We're just in the last 2 weeks after Christmas, we've basically moved the platform to beta. We've turned mainnet on. We've listed the token on Aldrin and on Radium. It's tradable on Ethereum DEX as well now. So, you know, essentially that's all set up and ready to go. And then the most exciting thing is that I've been working on the NFT, our first NFT release, and that's going to happen, likely to happen in 2 weeks' time. So our target date for that, which is a bit of alpha for you, I haven't told anyone this yet, but our target date for that is 14th of February for the launch. And at the moment, we've got whitelist tokens that we're handing out so that people can mint those NFTs pre-launch if they so desire. And I'm happy actually to give you a couple of those Draxes to give away to your, you know, some of your listeners if you're keen to do that. We're going to have, you know, 1303 plus a little bit of the whitelist tokens. I think that we're probably not going to get the full complement of 1303 people in there, so there should be at least a couple of hundred tokens that we'll be able to give away and, you know, do a few promotions with. So you can have one of those if you want, mate.
Wow, no, if you put it like that, Captain, they will rush like zombies to me and they will eat me alive. That's very awesome. I appreciate a lot that, Captain. Very grateful for that.
No, pleasure, mate.
Well, now let me see. One of the upcoming events for you will be the Boom Genesis NFTs marketplace for communities. In Q2, Q3 will be the NFT-based community roles, artist collaborations, NFT Launchpad, Solana product collaborations, NFT design suite. That's very cool and awesome, and a decentralized API. Very awesome, sir. So
yeah.
I would like to ask you, now that I mentioned the decentralized API, I will become the devil's advocate for some minutes.
Yeah, sure, that's great.
So now that you mentioned that about the decentralized API, sorry, is the farming, the farming mentality of API.
That's all right.
I would like to ask you, why do you think that you are truly decentralized if you are using servers like the Amazon Web Service?
Yeah, right. So, you know, talking about alpha and getting the platform up, the way that, in terms of what we're going to deliver in our decentralized API, the technology platform that we're going to build on, it's a technology called OrbitDB. Now, OrbitDB is an alpha itself, so there's no proof that alpha can scale at the moment, and it's obviously a really new technology. And essentially, when I was building the prototype, just to prove that it was enough to prove that we could do a social network where you could connect your Solana wallet, and that was all that you needed to be able to have an account and post on our network. You know, there's no email address attached to it. There's no name that you need to put in, or mobile number, or any sort of details. All you need to do is you have a wallet address, you connect it to our site. If you don't have an account on the site, it automatically creates an account for you, and you can start posting. And if you've got BMA tokens in there, you can start, you know, tipping people. And so, you know, that was plenty of functionality to deliver for one person, me essentially, in the first 3 months, which is the time it took me to build the base platform. Now, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to be really clear that we are going to do a decentralized API. And so, we've got a database on AWS at the moment. It is centralized. But once we've got our team locked in, and once we've got our core value proposition done in terms of the marketplace and the NFT creation and community, and we've got critical mass and we're actually generating some revenue, the exciting thing that we can do then is that we can start to point our team of developers towards improving and helping with this open source software, which is IPFS and OrbitDB. And that's what I'm a big passionate fan of open source software. We've open sourced a lot of our application. It's on our GitHub, and I think with the delivery of IPFS, there's going to have to be a lot of work done to make sure that it can scale correctly, that it can handle, say if we've got 50, 60,000 users on platform in the next 6 to 12 months, that actually IPFS and OrbitDB will be able to service that amount of people. So we're going to actually, once we've got some scale and once we've got some users, we're going to have to do a lot of testing around that, and we'll probably have some sort of beta version, once we go from beta to the main platform and we take the beta label off. We'll probably have a separate UX site with a beta label on it where we'll get people who are technically enabled to connect on that and start to test the IPFS backend. But that's probably 6 to 12 months down the track, I think. Obviously the most important thing for us is that we've got to start generating some decent revenue to be able to pay our developers to be able to take that step, and that's where we're really focused at the moment.
Very clear to me. Another punch for you. What will be the worst scenario for Bomm Army?
I think the worst case scenario is that we find out that OrbitDB isn't fit for purpose and that it actually can't scale to sort of more than 20 or 30,000 users. Now, if that happens, I think that we've got some other possibilities that we could do. I don't know if you've heard, there's a platform called Matrix, which is essentially a decentralized chat app. Now, I think we could probably either fork that repository and build our own decentralized backend out. But look, I think we'll just cross those bridges when we come to them. Like the best thing about us is that we've got, including myself, there's 4 developers on our team, and between us, we've got about 40 years of experience. So we're all senior developers. We're all really seasoned. We actually all work together in our day job, and the platform that we run, it gets about 30 million sessions a week. So it's a big platform in New Zealand, probably one of New Zealand's bigger ones because we're a pretty small country, and we've been through the wars in terms of just dealing with real world situations at scale where we've had to solve problems. So if we can't build on OrbitDB, we will solve that problem as well, and we'll figure out a way to decentralize the backend. Cool. Looks like you've dropped out, Draxus. Are you still there, mate? I think Draxus has just dropped out of the podcast. I'll just message him on Discord and see what he's doing there. Did you drop out of the cast?
Oh, did you hear me?
He's back.
Do you hear me? Oh,
I can hear you again.
I had the microphone off. I was speaking to myself.
I thought you dropped out. I couldn't actually see the avatar there, but it must be just the host. Sweet as, all good.
Yeah, I was telling you that I truly appreciate your vision and everything that you have shared with us. I will say that I made the right decision to follow you, and also not only the right decision, but truly one that I made synergy with. Because when you make synergy with another person on another project, you know that you can achieve great things. We know that in the crypto space there are a lot of people that want to take profits from others, taking advantage of their innocence. So to find people or persons like you is truly a bless, if we can say
Oh,
so.
mate, that's very humbling to hear that, and you know, I'm just as happy to honestly to have you as part of the project, because you know, without people like you, it would be a much grayer space. You know, it's you're one of our real passionate community members, our evangelists. You know, creating content like this, and I'm really thankful for that. So thank you, sir.
Yeah, in Código Ciphers, we achieve to help projects and people like you that truly wants to work for the decentralization and the ethos that describe or did the concept of the original internet of the web 1.0. So we are trying our best. We do everything in our hands without, you don't have to give all credits or something like that, because we truly do it for the better good. Although we know that
Absolutely.
we know that that term, the better good, has been used in history for bad things. For bad things. So
Yeah, look,
hopefully we will change that.
I
Hopefully.
think, you know, it's so interesting because you're right. There's so many rug projects in crypto, and there's so many people trying to make a quick buck, you know. But I think, you know, it's I could have easily done that. Could have just made some sort of random NFT project 6 months ago and delivered it, you know, and made a couple of $1 million. But you know, I think like the opportunity that we've got here is an opportunity to change the world. And, you know, that's a big lofty goal. And if we shoot for the stars, you know, we might hit the trees. But ultimately, there's enough value in crypto for everyone to do really well out of it. I mean, everyone is so early at the moment. So, you know, I think all we need to do is just keep being honest about where we are, and take the long-term view, and as long as we keep doing that, you know, people are going to come, and we're going to build something special.
The best is yet to come, sir.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Totally agree.
I will do a final question. It's a quick one, and it's related to the Spanish community. And
sure.
It's from Bastión de Tormentas, and he says that how important is the Spanish community to you?
Yeah, look, so we've got a Spanish channel in Discord dedicated, and I know that you've been in there, Draxus, a lot, moderating that, and I'm really appreciative of that. You know, I think every country with every different language, they have the opportunity to make their own space on Bomm Army. You know, like I can totally see like even someone launching a some sort of country related token or even language related token, you know, so that anyone who can maybe pass a small Spanish test, who can speak Spanish or something like that, gets validated, and they get an NFT that identifies them for that, and then they get access to the Spanish community, you know. So look, I think the short answer is that everyone is really important to us, and what I'm really excited about is that we've got these communities like the Spanish community on our platform, who are doing their own thing, and I'm really interested to see what comes out of that, because I just can't imagine
it. Yeah, that's good to hear, sir. Well, so to finish this wonderful meeting, I have one final question. This will be the toughest one of the questions. Are you ready for it?
Go for it.
Are you sure, sir? This is one.
Yep.
It will be very difficult.
Fire away.
Okay. When, sir?
When? You know the answer to that already. It's
soon. Sir, Captain, I want to give you a great salute and gratitude for coming to here to Código Ciphers. I really appreciate your time here with us.
That's awesome. Thanks for having me, man. And look, I'll catch you on Bomm.Army, and yeah, it's great to have you on board.
That's right. So, people, this was Harkl, the great captain of Bomm Army. So, remember to subscribe, share us a like. Also, follow him on Twitter because he shares a lot of alphas here and there. And also, he always respond to the question when. So, spam him with when. So, Captain, I hope that you have a great day. Yeah, well, you are starting your day. We are almost finishing here.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I've got a big day ahead, so looking forward to getting into it. Cheers.
Take care.
Okay,
Take care,
bye.
everyone.